Activity is manifested to the core. Watch out as hosts Ip Senghor and the erudite Sheriff Cora dig deep into the trending issues including politics, health, education, entertainment, and much more. Join us every Saturday at 5 p.m. GMT, only on LSTV1.
Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Ip Senghor and I have my co-panelists here. I'll do a quick roundtable and let everyone introduce themselves. So today we have a big guest for you. You know, we have the National Youth President of the GDC, which is the Gambia Democratic Congress in Gambia, one of the major political heavyweights in the Gambia. So we'll let the co-panelists introduce themselves first, and then we'll do a quick roundtable, and then we'll come back to our guest. So Mr. Afridamos is yours. You're muted. You're muted after that was. All right, we'll go to Maurice. Maurice, can you just go ahead and do a quick intro?
Okay. Good evening, good viewers from my end here, Paris. This is Maurice, co-host of the program. So I'm welcoming our guest, Mr. Cham of the GDC, and we're gonna get into the show and saying hi to all the viewers too.
All right, thank you. So MC Cham is not someone that is a stranger in Gambian politics. You know, I've been following the GDC since its inception back in I think 2016. So since then, MC Cham, you've been the National Youth President of the Gambia Democratic Congress, but also, you've co-doubled also as some kind of a quasi spokesperson, because you are the one that goes out of the limb, to talk about GDC. Whenever GDC is involved in any kind of squabble, we see MC Cham come and do rebuttals, both in the print media as well as the TV stations as well, and the radio stations, I would say. So everyone knows you. You're a household name in the Gambia. So, but I'll just go ahead and have you introduce yourself, to some of our viewers so they know who MC Cham is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Senghor and your co-host. This is MC Cham Jr. I also want to say hi to your views. I'm very happy to be part of the panel today.
Thank you, MC Cham, for that. So, MC, our conversation today is going to be revolving around the current National Assembly debate on the Constitution. So we understand that there's a lot that we have to say, but we may not be able to cover everything today. But the Constitution is in the core of a conversation when it comes to our national conversations today. And we want you to just kind of give us an understanding on where the GDC is in terms of that conversation, okay? So first of all, could you just kindly tell us, before we go into the conversation, can you give us an insight on why do you think the media, some of the private media, weren't allowed to participate in covering the events at the National Assembly earlier in the week?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Senghor, for giving me the floor again. That I was not at the National Assembly when they were denying of the journalists not to enter at the Assembly, but in my own capacity as the youth leader of the GDC, and I come out all out to condemn the act, because we fought for a change, for a better Gambia, that media should have a freedom of speak, they should have access of information anywhere they want. And it's very wrong for the National Assembly of the clerk to deny them not to enter or to pick and choose of media houses. That's very wrong. And I condemn it, both the media and also I involved my MPs, asked them what was the reason why they denied them. But all of them, they cannot even give the reason why they denied them. They were not informed. The reason came from the office of the clerk, but it's very wrong.
So again, would you? What's your take on the fact that they're insisting that it's because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's the reason why they're trying to limit, overcrowding within the assembly floors when it comes to the media coverage. So is that genuine enough for you to kind of, seclude some members of the media and then allow, some of the media heavyweights, to participate?
No, it was not a genuine reason that the officer Kalag was giving out, and I think that a lot of citizens was happening there by the time all the media houses was allowed to enter. Why up to the last minute, whereby everybody is focusing more on this draft constitution, and I was not thinking that the reason that the officer Kalag was giving it was not a genuine reason for me. But I was feel like that they should have allowed every media house to enter so that every government should know what is happening at the national assemblies when we are discussing about the draft constitution.
Of course, I agree with you. So, MC, what we would do today is that we want to have this conversation both in English, Wolof, and if your Mandinka is good too, we can also delve into Mandinka as well. We want everyone to benefit from this conversation, especially with what you have to share. So, how is the GDC as a party monitoring the constitutional debate at the National Assembly as it is today?
GDC as a party, we are monitoring the events at the Assembly. We have already engaged our Member of Parliament. We have 4 Members of Parliament at the Assembly. That our position as a party, we support the draft, that we were fighting very hard so that we have a change. You cannot have a proper reform without having a new constitution. And I think that every genuine Gambian should support the draft. At the party level, we are 100% support the draft constitution, that all our MPs should vote in favor of the draft constitution.
Oh, of course.
But in GDC, we have an internal democracy within the party. Yeah, we cannot force our MPs what they should do. But we have a position as a party that we have already shared with them. But it's left to them with their own will and their own concept as individuals. But we cannot impose them or force them to do what they feel like they're going to do it. But at party, we have our own position, but we have internal democracy in GDC.
Okay, thank you for that. So I will go back to my co-panelists to see if they have any questions. Mr. Africanus, do you have any questions for MC?
Well, my position is, before I get to a question here, as far as everything that's been going down, you look at it, I wouldn't even call this a constitution. This is more like a declaration, because if a country that is constantly changing, a document that they call a constitution, it's not really a constitution. For example, if you look, I'll give you an example, like let's say the United States, right? This constitution has been alive for 250 years today as we speak. Yes, sometimes you can do amendments to the constitution, right? But if you're constantly doing radical changes, it should be given the right name, which is a declaration. But here, my question to Mr. Cham, what is the position of your party on, the provision, some of the provisions in this constitution? I would still call it that / declaration, as far as people that, like let's say non-Gambians that have, let's say they've lived in the Gambia for so long, are their children, allowed, the Gambian citizenship? What is your party's position on that?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Automatic birthright.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our party position, we have made a recommendation to the CRRC and to the member of the parliaments, and I think that on Monday, our party position will come out to the media. Everybody knows this is the position of the GDC. We have almost 10 or 15 points that we need to be amendment or need to be put in the draft constitution. But I cannot disclose that as for now. But we have a position as a party, and we already submit to the CRRC.
But Mr. Cham, that would contradict everything that we as a public have been told, because this constitution, they spent, many months and, lots of money to come up, to gather the provisions of the constitution. So now what I'm hearing is that, this is still open to new changes. Is that what you're telling me?
No, what I'm telling you that at the party level, we have already decided at the party that we are supporting in this the draft constitution, but we have been fighting for a change. You cannot have a proper change without having a proper reform. We cannot have proper reform without having a new constitution, because we have been crying that 97 constitution is not a correct constitution. People have been against the 97 constitution. So right now we have a change that every government should support the draft constitution. But we have some recommendations that we felt that it should be there, but despite that, but they can even make the amendment. But at the party level, we have a positions that we have already submitted our report to the CRRC that we need this thing to be changed or we need this thing to be added. But we have already submitted to our MPs at the assembly, because we have four parliamentarians at the assembly.
So you guys never had the opportunity to do this when they were, because I participated here in the States when they came around to get, you know, the point of view of Gambians. So my question, let me rephrase it. So like months ago, almost a year ago, when they were going around to get every Gambian's viewpoint, did political parties have the opportunity to give their viewpoints too?
Of course. All the political parties was given the opportunity to share your views concerning about the draft constitution. All the political parties. There was the stakeholders discussions. We have a lot of engagement with the CRRC, a lot of seminars, a lot of forums to discuss what we feel that it should be at the draft constitution.
But don't you think if you guys come up with some new things, that would even create more confusion?
No, you cannot say, because we have what we have submitted, what we submitted to the CRRC and what we are seeing is quite different. That's why we need to put them on hold. That we have been saying this thing, but we don't see this thing at the draft constitution. So why? But still now it's necessary to put that in place.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So let me chime in on that. So MC, at this stage that the draft constitution is at the National Assembly for debate, help me understand as a layman outside that probably does not have a greater understanding of assembly issues or constitutional affairs. At this point in time, is the document prone to any editing and then taken back to the people for reconsideration before it goes to a referendum as it is? Or is it just,
right now?
Yeah.
Right now, it's at the last date. It's from the assembly. From there, whenever on Monday is the last day. Is the third reading. From there, they have to vote it whether to block it or to pass it, so that the Speaker of the Assembly can inform the IEC to call for a referendum. So right now, we are the last date from the National Assembly. All our votes should be on the National Assembly. If they block it, they have the power to block the draft constitution, so that we cannot go to referendum. But as for now, everything is in the hand of the National Assembly members.
Okay, thank you for that. So with the GDC, I understand the GDC, when the election happened, you won 5 seats and then you lost 1 MP that passed, you know, and now the APRC, I believe, has 5 of them, you know, 1 independent member. The NRP has 5, you know, DOI has 2 and PPP has 2. So if, and the UDP, they're fragmented as it is right now. So do you think there's a possibility for this for this constitutional review draft to die at the assembly as it is today? Is it any inch of a possibility?
Yes, I was the first Gambian to, since January, that I was having an interview with these local radios that I don't see any possibility of going to referendum with this new draft constitution. When I was saying that, many Gambians were saying that MD is smart, because I was knowing that because the government, they are the one who brought the draft constitution. They are the one who established the CRRC. But they are the same people who block it. They go against and campaign against the governments who not support the draft constitution. Because we have been seeing that they have been complaining with some of the advice of the government. Because President Barrow was in record saying that he want to give government a condition whereby everybody will be happy if nobody will touch the draft constitution for 50 years. But the same President Barrow with his team, they are the one who going against campaigning. So let the government not support the draft constitution. After spending $160 million, I was the first Gambians going out to the radio that these people, they will block it at the assembly, because President Barrow have the numbers, because you have the MPs. Because if you look at the MP, that you have 8 MPs that have been expelled from the UDP. You have 5 from the NRP and 2 nominated member of parliament and independent candidate. And so I heard that APS, they also want to defend their national constitution. So that's likely that this is not going to pass.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that part, but I'll get back to that shortly. But before that, I want to give Maurice an opportunity to also ask any question before I come back to that.
Okay, Mr. Cham.
Thank you.
I have a question to ask. Very few questions. Questions concerning about how to call it the draft constitution, and also the by-election in Nyamina. How to call it? I think first of all, I will also I have a question concerning your draft, your how to call it, your party manifesto. So I want to talk about. My first question will be like the by-elections in Nyamina. Actually, the IEC reports that they are waiting for health clearance to conduct the by-elections in how to call it in Nyamina, in Nyamina. Okay, what I want to ask is, are you political parties, parties as an institution, don't you have a plan that you can present to the IEC as a plan B to replace a normal situation when elections are to be conducted? Don't you have any other plan to offer? Because normally, I believe there can be a plan B to replace, like in the US. Actually, they are conducting elections through even let's say, for example, they put in place mail voting. Okay, in the Gambia, I know that we are not that much sophisticated, but I think we can come up with a solution. Virtual meetings can be done through the social media and so forth. But I think the political parties in these trying times, I think they can come up with a solution to make sure that such a pandemic, the magnitude of the pandemic, actually we don't know exactly how it is in the Gambia. But I think political parties should propose an alternative solution or alternative possibility for IEC to respect and conduct elections despite the pandemic by respecting certain principles and codes, whereby.
Hey, Maurice, is that a question for him?
No, it's a recommendation.
Yeah,
I think it's a recommendation.
The question is there.
Yeah. I support the recommendation. It's good. It's a good idea.
The question is.
It's well noted. It's well noted.
Okay. The question is, what are your stance, or what are your plans, to formulate such a plan B solution or possibility for IEC to conduct elections?
No, right now, if you look at the electoral law 2015 that is governed by the IEC, there is no plan for any political parties to recommend anything to the IEC. But we have an inter-party committee whereby all political parties represented at the IEC in the inter-party committee. And I think that all your idea is a good idea that I really appreciate it, and we'll get noted of it. From there, I will forward it to the inter-party committee that we need to have a plan B. But as for now, as a party, what we should do, we just have to engage the IEC that we need to have a by-election in Nyamina. Nyamina West should have a representative at the assembly. Up to now, almost 6 months, there is no by-election. All the issues that IEC is dealing with is a business issues. For me, I don't think that the COVID-19 can stop IEC for conducting elections. Because if you look at other countries, they are organizing a general elections. In the like of Burundi, in the like of Malawi, and other countries like Ghana is coming in December. Even America is coming on November. So I don't think that IEC is giving chance to NPP, because we know that GDC is going to have we're going to challenge the seat with NPP. So IEC is focused more on giving the NPP the chance of to have to restructure them, committee there in that place to have a support base in that area. But I don't see any reason why IEC is delaying the election in Nyamina West.
Okay. Also, concerning about the draft constitution, which is already tabled at the parliament, what I want to ask is, because I had an MP, in fact, saying that, one of the reasons that he will not vote or he might not qualify this draft constitution is, how to call it, I can say he was referring to entirely some parts where copy-paste of the Kenyan constitution, which we can qualify as a plagiarism. So it means they plagiarized the constitution. What's your take on that particular issue concerning about even if, because I have mine, and really I think I will ask Mr. Senghor a time for me to elaborate on the whole subject about this plagiarism issue. So I want to know your take as a party. What's your stance about when it comes to plagiarizing a constitution from another nation of the same continent?
No, I think that parliamentarian is from our GDC, but I think that most of the West African constitutions are similar in policies and making and policy transfer. But I feel like that hence it suits the context of your country. I think it would be good to go. But personally, he's part of our MPs, but I disagree with him in that area. He's our member of parliament in Jara Central. But personally, I think that that's not for me. I don't think that's genuine reason. Definitely.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. You can come through.
Well, Mr. Cham, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. So you have a member of parliament that came out and made an allegation like that. That's pretty serious. If in fact, part of what we're calling the constitution is from the Kenyan constitution, that's something we should look at, because a constitution is supposed to be the representation of a group of people in a certain location. So if this is coming from what fits Kenyans, or what even fits Senegalese doesn't fit, Gambian people. So we have to be realistic about it, right?
No, can I come? I think that the reason that our parliamentary was saying, for me, I think most of the African countries, their concerns are similar.
Yeah,
in policies, policies making and policies transfer. It's not. I think that hence is a copy and paste. After what he say, it's not illegal. But I don't have that problem. But our problem is that we have been fighting for a change, and we're gonna have a better change without having a new constitution. And I think everybody should try and do our level best so that we can have a new constitution. So from there we can make other amendments. But any standard democracy, you need to have a 2-term limit. You need to have second round of voting. All these parliamentarians, what they are complaining at the assembly is all about term limit. That's it. And President Barrow was a transitional president for 3 years. That's why he was just for 3 years. From there, he laid the foundation and go back to his business. From there, Gambia elect our new president.
Don't you think Gambians, us as Gambians, right? Instead of saying, okay, we're gonna look at every other African country's constitution, we want to say they are similar, right? Why don't we focus on Gambia and create a binding document that's going to last, for a very long time, because we're not only looking at, today, is this the argument? Is it representing the voices of the politicians
and the Gambians?
Gambians are not Kenyans. I've been around Kenyans. We're completely
different. But how so did he have some of these people, they always follow the social media. Some of the parliamentarians, they don't read. That's the problem. That's the problem of the Gambians. Because we have been seeing, sorry for saying that, because they need to go over the documents. They have more time. You cannot come to the parliamentary at the assembly saying that it is from the current place from the Kenya. What are your evidence? What are the evidence? Why you say so? So the problem of Gambians, our problem is about we don't read. He's from our own party, but I disagree with him. I disagree from him when I was following the debate at the assembly. From there, I sent him the message. I said, look, what you are saying at the assembly is wrong. It's not correct.
So he didn't present any evidence.
There is no evidence, because whatever people are saying at the social media, you need to, as a parliamentary, go over the document. You have more time. People are paying you our resources, our taxpayer money, so that you go over the document. From there, when you come to the assembly, you present the evidence that this the Kenyan constitution is here, and with the government constitution, I say this section 1 or section 24 of this constitution and section, they are all similar. They are all the same from Kenya. From there, people can say that this guy have evidence.
Man, That's a shame if that's how it went down. If he, as a parliamentarian, he's saying something about a document he's supposed to read, he didn't read it, and he didn't bring any evidence. That's like word from the street. That's not
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's not
All right.
right.
Okay, guys. Let's simmer it down a little bit. Let's simmer it down. No, hold on, Morris. Hold on. Yeah, I wanted to shift gears here a little bit. So, Mr. Cham,
Yes.
from a contextual standpoint, Barrow came, he came as a transitional leader, like you just alluded to right now.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be there for 3 years, but we've seen him extended to 5 years. And one of the major things that he was supposed to come with, the transitional government, is the constitutional review, and also the TRC, and also reforming some of the institutions, right? So we know that a lot of money has been spent on this constitutional review, and then a lot of people are saying that the constitutional review is not important. Why should we have another constitution? But it's a lot of things in the 97 constitution that are not amendable. Like, people are saying that let's go and amend this, but it's important for us to have another constitution as is today. But we also know that this term limit is an issue, all right, because the constitution is making sure that Barrow's first term, this term serves a first term, and the next one, but his supporters want him to serve for 15 years or whatnot. So why would you think, what are they doing? Because Sekou Maron came, he's a breakaway from the UDP. He's one of those expelled, and said that he's not going to support it. Likewise, other people. Like right now, it looks like they have 22 parliamentarians that would vote, in favor of Barrow's party, right? So why would you think a president whose main purpose is to come and change things, and spend $160 million is on a document, why would you think he's coming back now and then voting against the same document? And also, if it passes, do you think, the Gambian people will vote it, in a referendum?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Senghor, for giving me the floor again. But I think that everybody knows that President Barrow is focusing more on for 15 years. And I think Barrow is a betrayer because he has betrayed the entire Gambians. Because he was campaigning for 3 years. From there, he will lay a strong foundations. He's there to make a reform, like the Jane Condition or the CRRC, TRC, and other things. But we have been seeing that now he's focusing more on his political party than even the country. But I think that as a Gambian, every Gambian should know that he's a betrayer. What he's saying and what he's doing is quite different. But as for now, this draft condition, if at all it have already passed at the assembly, you need to have 75% of Gambians to come out and vote yes. How can you have the 75%? That's a big question.
Did you say 75% of Gambians should vote yes?
Yeah, 50% of Gambians should come out. 50% of Gambians should come out. But the 75% of Gambians should vote for yes.
That's ridiculous, man. Not even.
So you're gonna have, if you look at the last election, local government election, we have 20% of Gambians. Local government election from the mayor and the councillors, we have 20% of Gambians. So to have 70% of Gambians to come out and vote, that you're gonna have it.
So in the event 50% does not show up, so 50% of registered voters does not show up.
Should come out. Yes, should come out. Yeah.
So if that doesn't happen, then we have to present the constitution for another referendum again, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, that means there is no voice.
So all of that money and resources that's been spent on that will just go in vain, like that.
That's why I was saying that those who wrote the act of the CRC Act, they wrote the act so that the constitution can be failed. Okay. There was a lot of sabotage within themselves. Because if you wrote the act and the government, they can't even come out and vote. Even the president they're going to have 50%. So he says 70% for referendum. How can you have 70% for referendum? If you look, if you see Gambian during Jammeh time, when Jammeh was going for referendum, he have 75% because by that time every government was supporting Jammeh at that time. So whenever they present to the public and everybody won't have to, because when Jammeh came in, he just something the concept of the Jawar 97 condition. So from this one, everybody now is against President Barrow. How can you have 70%? That's the big problem.
Mr. Cham, my question is, right? Okay, what is the what is the backup plan, like the backup document? You know, if this one fails, right? Does that mean, you know, we go back to the 99, the Jammeh one, the Jammeh constitution, or the country is going to be without one for now? What is the backup plan?
No, right now the backup plan is, unless we from there, if they reject the draft constitution, I think that as opposition party in the House, we can find a private bill so that we can have the 51 clause and the 2-term limit. Yes, but I think that it's a risk for every political party to go with the constitution.
So yeah, so now, Mr. Cham, with what you just said, with that knowledge and information within you, what is the GDC doing as a party in helping sensitize people on those? Two things. What are you doing in trying to reach out to other MPs that could be susceptible to change their minds, you know, to vote for it in the assembly? And also, if that is to fail, as a caveat, what is the GDC doing in helping sensitize Gambians as far as this component of 50% showing up and also 75% voting for it? You know, so what are you doing as a party in helping spread that message and also bring people, you know, towards the vote?
Yeah, we are as a party, and we are doing our level best to talk to our people, support both at the radio and when we have a gathering and our forums, that we need to come out and vote for the draft constitution. And we have been fighting for change, and we have the change. But despite we have the change, we need to have a new constitution, whereby we should affect Gambians. But as a party, we are doing our level best. But when the draft constitution fails, that means that it's a political point for the opposition party to come out against President Barrow. After spending $160 million for this draft constitution, and the same President Barrow and his team, they also reject the draft constitution. So I think it's a political point for the political parties to come out and expose the Barrow government for misusing the Gambian taxpayer money.
But
go ahead,
Mr. Cham, if let's say this fails, how is this entirely on Barrow as a president? Because this is supposed to be about the Gambian people, right? So my question is, with the emergency document that the country has to fall back on if this draft constitution is disagreed upon, because we have to have something, to go by, something that governs it. If we have every political party coming up with their own idea, that's going to just create more confusion. I don't think you answered my question when I was asking the actual, is there like a central document, that says, if this fails, this is the emergency document that we fall back on.
No, there is no emergency fund. There is no emergency fund.
There's no emergency document.
Yeah, there's no emergency document. There is no emergency. There is no plan B. There is no plan B. There is no, unless we use our parliamentarian so that they can table a private bill so that we can have 1 plus or 2-term limit. But there is no plan B.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
Yeah, there's no plan B. And I think that after spending a lot of money, but this one is the government. Everybody know that that the government did not want this draft constitution to pass, including President Barrow himself.
So MC, so I don't know. So the private bill would be something added to the 97 constitution, because when I was listening, unless we also focus like the electoral reform at the IEC level, so that they can include the 51 plus there and the 2-term limits, because that table need to be tabled at the assembly very soon. IEC will table their reform at the IEC, because we need to make reforms at the IEC. But still now that is also delayed. Unless we use our MPs, they can pass a private bill. Okay, so you guys have a very young MP out there, Mr. Cisse. That's Omar Cisse. He made a very important statement, and I think this should stick to every genuine Gambian. He said, voting down this draft constitution also equates to voting for the 97 constitution. And it's a lot of things that are in the 97 constitution that the people need to know. So, for instance, the immunity for Jammeh and his people, and there's a lot of things that they have on there. The immunity for those people against the April 10th and 11th. I remember I was in grade 12 at the time. So, with all those things, in the, again, going back, would you as a party make it a point of view to kind of go to the radio stations or use other type of media to sensitize people and let them know, hey, if your MP votes against this, these are the repercussions, right? Is that happening as it is today?
Oh, right now, even today, I was having a lot of radio program, and I exposed all their names, all the parliamentarians that I feel that they will not vote. They will vote against their constitution.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, MC, I just want to weigh in here concerning about you clearly making a benchmark that 75% is unlikely, unattainable. All right. Now, what I want to ask is, if this bill passes to referendum, when is it going to the referendum? When will they held? At what time? I want to know.
Yeah, they said it's by June next year. June.
By June. Okay. So before June, will there be like new voter registration?
Yeah, by normally November we need to have voter registration by November. Normally by
November. Okay, November 2020.
2020, yeah.
Okay. Now, I think actually looking at the whole context of our political landscape, I think people are being galvanized first, and there is a lot of momentum since after, because looking back, in the past, during the past decades, a lot of people, a lot of Gambians has been, discouraged to register or to go and vote. Okay, and after Ustin Jame, a lot of people has been galvanized and they build interest in politics, and social media has become another phenomenon of disseminating information much more than some years back. And people are getting informed that politics are defining your life from birth to death. All these factors combined, don't you think actually the actual context we are in, this 75%, if political parties, when the bill passes to a stage of referendum, can think and say, okay, this is doable and it can be attained, in considering the new registration that will take place, because know that there are people there are youths that were 15 years. By the time of registration, they will be eligible to acquire a voter's card. So now, don't you think it is possible, the 75%, the margin of 75%?
No, but you need to look at the other side. It's not only all political parties will come and support the draft constitutions, because you are going for elections. Some people they will vote for yes, some people they will vote for no. If one political party say no, and that automatically, you see, you have Gambia, we have 3 political parties, which is GDC and UDP and APRC. So if GDC
which means that if NPP says no, that can compromise the whole agenda.
No, NPP they don't have the support base. Gambia, we have 3 political parties that are the well-established political parties who have the political base is GDC, UDP, and APRC. And APRC, they will come and defend their constitutions. Okay. Which is 97 constitution. So the possibility of having 70% is a problem.
I want to quickly shift to something that I really want to ask and know, because looking at you recently launched your party manifesto, right? Okay. Does your party manifesto have what we call a minimum wage? That is a minimum wage, to define a minimum wage, at least for the Gambia, because when you look at the pay gap, the payroll, the pay gap, is really disproportionate to actually what maybe a policeman would be earning and a director. So have you worked on that? And also, what are your plans for youth employment? Can you also please give me some elaboration?
Yeah, I think we have one of the best manifesto and one of the best programs as a party, and I think everything is at the website. Whatever you want to know, you can Google to the website. We have a very good package for the salary of civil servants and very good youth program for the young people of this country. That's why we say that whenever we are in power, we give 40% of the employment to the young people of the Gambia. Our appointment is based on merit, based on your qualification, not about your GDC, position. No, every government, we are calling for unity government. We involve everybody on board so that we have a better Gambia.
Okay, my final question would be like, quickly, in case this bill passes the assembly and passes the referendum, is put into effect, then there will be like this saying of 50%. You have to acquire 50% of the vote, or 51, I don't know. So now, in looking at the political landscape of the Gambia, with over more than 13 political parties, and when you make the divisions between the number of percentage of voters, I think it will be very, very frankly, it can be hard to acquire that. So now, in the case, in a scenario whereby it happens that the GDC happens to be at least maybe one of the contenders that arrive at the how to call it, at the stage for a second round. So now, are you thinking of what are your criteria to create or formulate an alliance with other political parties?
Well, as for now, as a party, we are working towards elections. But right now, it's not. We have not any agreement with any political party when it come to about coalition or alliance talks. But as for now, we are working very hard so that we can have the 51 plus. If at all we're going to have it, then we just engage the other political party, discuss with them. We have a very genuine coalition, not about President Barrow coalition, a fake coalition or Bara Yego coalition. No, but we want to have a genuine one whereby everybody will see yourself to the coalition. Yeah, but as for now, as a party, we are not. But as a party, we are not having any political talk with any political parties, with any agreement with any political parties. But we are working towards elections. We want Republican to be at the next president of this country.
Yeah, what I'm asking, in fact, is, do you have like a dogma, an orthodox dogma that your party believes in, to say these are our regulations or rules that or some of the criteria that GDC have as a party, to say, okay, we will make alliance with any party with who abides to set some of the those that we have. We have these rules. Do you have?
Yeah, we have GDC. We have the rules. As far as you want the Gambia, you want betterment of this country, we can work with any political party based on the interest of this country as a party. But the rules and the regulations we need, yes. As a Gambia.
And in that, the APRC, as we all know, there is actually a commission going on. In case GDC reverts to decide to go in alliance with the APRC. Now,
why APRC?
Now, I'm giving you an example because there is
because you guys every time GDC APRC. No, but it's fine, and I think that APRC they are Gambians. They are Gambians. They have the voters card, and politics about numbers. Politics about numbers.
No, of course,
so we need everybody.
And I believe. I believe.
Can you allow him to answer the question, please?
No, in fact, the question is not yet. I'm trying
to. But let him talk.
Yeah, I say APRC. They are Gambians, and I think that GDC politics about numbers is about people. So our door is open to every political party that is seeing the betterment of this country. That's who will see Gambia, but not for your personal interest or for your personal interest of your political party. Our focus is about one Gambia, one people. That's why I say we want a unity government.
Okay. Now, forming a monolithic bloc with APRC and the subject of the former leader, Cham, will it be an inclusive in it? Will you accept that?
No, when we say APRC is not belong to Cham. Cham didn't own the party. The party is owned by the Gambian people. And right now, Cham is not here, but the party is moving. They are organizing their program, they are organizing activities. If you look at Barrow, is fighting everything to have APRC at his side to back him. So it's not about having the APRC. As GDC, we have our program, we have our manifesto, when Jammeh was here, we go out and campaign. We have 70% of the population. It's about the GDC, and right now the party have increased to 25% last local government elections. So we are not focusing more on the APRC or UDP or what. What we are focusing, we have a program that we are sending to the electorate.
Let's shift gears here.
Just this question.
No, Morris, we're running out of time. We want to get into other areas, please. You want to get
quick? Let me just put my last question. This is a thesis. Okay, in the case APRC decide to say, okay, Jammeh will always remain, I don't know, as a spiritual guide of our party. The fact that his trademark is in the party, will you still accept to collaborate?
No, it's not about. I think that position I cannot say it because I'm not the right position to say that we have a coalition with a particular political party. Though I'm a member of the SD committee, but that one should be at the level of the SD committee. We discuss with the level of the SD committee. We have an agreement. But as for now, as a party, we are working toward elections. We are saying our program, and we have the chance, and we hope that next elections, inshallah, how can be the next president of this country.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Afridamus, do you have any follow-ups on those?
Mr. Cham has made his points clear, and I agree with him that APRC, supporters, their members, they are Gambians too, and they have every right to continue to exercise their rights as Gambians. If any political party or groups of people want to ally themselves with APRC, they have every right to do so, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that. As he said, that's my belief too. Like, yes, Jammeh used to be the leader of the APRC, but he's no longer in the country. But they continue to thrive and, somehow maintain their numbers or increase it. I would think it would be silly for any political party, including GDC, if they were to make it to the second round and have the opportunity to ally themselves with a party like APRC and not do it. I think that would be silly. So Mr. Cham's answer, that's my answer as well.
All right, thank you. So Mr. Cham, back because you get what if the second round of elections are you no. So there is something that's currently blocking that. Like this draft constitution if it is voted down or if the second round of elections, then them back to the 2017 election type. If you win 20% of the voters and there are multitudes of parties and you happen to be number one, then you win. Understand? So the one you back, if you time limit bini at 51% of voting with understand? So Lord, they're trying to shut down living bini naga to the constitutional draft bini at the assembly. As a party, what's your level of preparedness, going into the 2021 elections? Because it's not too far away, considering both options, with this new constitution, if it goes into effect or without it, how prepared are you as a party going into 2021?
No, GDC, we are prepared. We are well prepared for the 2021 elections. With our new constitutions, we are going for elections, and we have the hope, we have the trust, and government have the confidence in GDC as a party. And we are doing a lot of grassroots work. And I think it's politics about numbers, and we have the numbers.
Okay, from the last elections, I'm not because Degluna, Mr. Honorable candidate, your Secretary General. GDC was the reason why, Jamedem. So in context, when you look at it, it makes sense because if those 17%, I think you had GDC has 17%. If the GDC did not take that 70%, the votes could have split either towards the coalition or to APRC, and mostly towards the APRC because a lot of those GDC voters would not vote for the coalition, I believe. So your phone, that 17%, do you think that number has grown from 2017 to now? And if it has grown, what do you think is responsible for that growth in percent?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think that if you look at the present election, we got 17% of the voters, and we won only 3 constituencies, which is Lower Nyomi, Upper Nyomi, and Jokadu. When we go for national elections, we have 70%. We won 5 constituencies. When we go to local government elections, we have 25%. We increase 25%, whereby we have 25 councillors and 1 chairman, and we have 13 constituencies. From 3 to 5, 13 constituencies, local government. So the party is growing every day.
The party is growing every day. So when the law so some guys have been voting for GDC. What do you guys have in mind? Because swing dog be correct, swing kurang be correct.
So we say GDC is the only party as opposition party. With the people of the community. Despite an opposition party, we have been invested a lot of money in this country. During Jammeh time, Jammeh Musaga opposition party. But if you look at now, GDC, Barrow will not say that. Because we have been invested a lot of development in this the entire country. That's why we have been increasing from 17% to 25%. Wow. And right now we have less than 5 years as a political party.
Lord Degala. So, gis nga comme ñu ne dañ lay wax ne comme soo buggee xam nguur lu mu defal, you know, lu gaay nekk di def before they assume power. So gis nañ GDC si boreholes, you know, si wali boreholes and all the other stuff that you've been doing for less privileged communities. You know, lately, what kind of projects have been going on? Because Gisnane Omar Sise, he built some kind of a clinic in one of the villages over there. So what other developmental projects do you have coming on right now as a party?
Yeah, as a party, we are also installed these boreholes nationwide, restructuring of a lot of healthcare hospitals, like in Jumara. And I think we are also sponsor a lot of students at the university. And we do a lot of work to support the young people. Yeah, we have almost 25 students at the university sponsored by the GDC. And if you look at a lot of hospitals right now, we are also helping them with clean water, like in the upper area. So I think as a party, we are doing a lot. Hence, we are in opposition. We have a lot of we have small resources within the parties. We contribute our quotas towards the development of the party. And there is no subvention from the government. And I think that it's very proper that the political parties should be given subvention from the government, like other countries. But Gambia, we always struggle as an opposition party. It's not easy to be an opposition in Africa, or particularly in the Gambia. But we are doing our best as a party. We have invested a lot of things to support the Gambian people.
Okay, so thank you, MC. Before I get my co-panelist a chance, I just want to touch on something because it's important. You just talked about lifting Minaka to the. You talked about the hospitals. Okay. So, legally, you know, the news that's going on in the Gambia, you know, supporting Gambian women's lives. Okay. So the reason for that, you know, there has been a lot of maternity death-related issues. Niti nyunglena yobu from the clinics to the RVH and with DCUNB on your RVH DCUNB. So, yen GDC as a plan, are these conversations happening? And you know, is it something incorporated in your agenda? You know, when we come to power, we would make sure that we see an end to this unnecessary maternal deaths you make it happen.
Of course, GDC. That's why we say free medication at the hospital. Both jigen muhammed yangi beer or mak or hale can do fail pita na equipment correct. But I think that President Barrow they wasted the mislead the public. Right now Gambia nga beer the was can do a problem. But what we are seeing now, definitely. Wow. So I think that Gambia is a failed state. So we need to have a change.
Okay. So but with that, you know, you think the GDC is the right party to bring about?
Yeah, GDC is the right person for a better Gambia.
So what kind of health reforms let GDC in the, you know, is it universal health reforms or private you know,
yeah, we have a very good manifesto whereby we talk a lot about health, and I think it's part of our priority: health, education, agriculture. That's what we're going to we not compromises.
Okay, thank you. Can you answer this question that everybody asked about Kende saying he's going to eradicate or shut down the paramilitary when he's in power? What's the reason for that?
No, I think it was a misleading headline. We don't say we're going to eradicate the PIU. What we say, we're going to make a reform, not to eradicate the PIU. You cannot eradicate the PIU.
What sort of reform are you
doing? Yeah, we want to reform them so that we equip them, we train them. So, but the work of the PIU and the police, they are all the same. So it's a matter of to have more on community police than even to have more on PIU. Because we need to have direct contact with the community. But if you look at the work of the police and the PIU, they are all the same. So we need to make reform. We need to we need to change the name of the PIU, like what we changed. By that time, when you say NIA, people used to fear NIA, but right now when you say something SIS, can dragon. So that's why we want to change the name of the PIU. That's why we want to make a reform. It's not about to eradicate PIU.
Okay. It looks like Afrodamus has a question before I come back.
I'm glad to hear about GDC being a political party that goes around and try to bring water to communities that are water deprived, digging boreholes and stuff like that. So my question to you is, as a political party that's already started the process of, can you hear me?
Yeah, he can hear.
Yeah, as a political party that's already started the process of doing the job of some of the jobs that NAWEC is supposed to do. So let's say you guys win in the 2021 election. What is your plans, as far as like when it comes to the energy sector? Like today, we all know NAWEC has been incompetent. What is your plans for the replacement of NAWEC?
Yeah, when we talk about the electricity, about NAWEC, we were having a plan 2017 to be a honorable candidate. He was having a very good plan so that he can just help the government so that they can maintain a very good electricity within Congo. They give the offer to the government, but they turn down the offer. I think as a party, the plan is that he can maintain the electricity within Congo area, whereby you're going to have light 24 hours without no offer on. So he was having the proposal, he went to the government and given the proposal, but they turned down the offer. So we have a good plan for the Gambia, and I think that whenever we give the power, we're going to implement all the plans.
What do you have some pointers you can give us here? So, like as far as like the boreholes, we're seeing the results. We don't just tell people that we got a plan. The plan.
Yeah, we have it's a document paper whereby the honorable candidate was having the document. We have the plan, everything. He went to the president and give the president all the document, and that if they give the chance, he can do it. I think the government should have given the chance so that we can. The African government, if at all they give the chance, if they think that he has a political point or political credit, that's why they turned down his offer. But I think it's normal. But as GDC, we have a good plan for Gambia.
Okay. So before we have a few minutes, then I'll get to Maurice in a minute. But last week on this show, we talked about the security reforms that are supposedly should be happening, and Barrow asked for more ECOWAS intervention, right? Like for the economic troops to stay. What's the GDC's take on economic staying, for this long? And also another thing after that, I wanted to talk about downsizing. What do you think? Because the military, the security sector of the Gambia is used as an employment avenue for a lot of people to create employment. And we know we have more than we need. So is the GDC as a party going to be involved in downsizing it or right-sizing it in some way so that, other employment opportunities created for those members of the security sector that are downsized?
No, GDC, we have I think concerning about the economic or the Senegal soldier. I think I have made a lot of statement about it that it's high time now to let them leave the country, because I think You cannot be here for almost 5 years, and there is no serious reform in this country. When you discuss, when you talk about serious reform, there is no reform, because if you look at what happened in State House now, all our state guard or Senegal soldiers are controlled now in the State House. That's very wrong, and I think it's high time now we have our own men, give them the power and start this country. But it's very wrong to have economic almost now 4 to 5 years now. But GDC, we have a good plans for the security. We make sure that we give them their due, and to encourage them. They are Gambians. They need to support them. But you know what is the problem of this country or the government? When they took over, they were saying that these soldiers, they are Jammeh soldiers or Jammeh loyalists. For me, I never buy that idea, because these people, they were here to defend this country and to defend the president. But when Jammeh is out, but see now they are here. They are Gambians, so they are not supporting Jammeh. They were here even right now. The loyalty that they were giving Jammeh, then same loyalty that they giving the loyalty to Barrow. So it's not about Jammeh loyalty or Jammeh soldier. They are Gambians. Barrows need to give them the encouragement, support them, motivate them, give them all the opportunities. Not about to depend more on the economic, because one day or other they have to leave this country. But we're going to focus more on economic. And I think that if Barrow can have his political party within 4 years, why Barrow cannot complete the entire reform of this country, social reform? But Barrow is not serious about any social reforms.
So you're going to, Barrow the Faragal Gambia.
No, he need to encourage them. Amul ragal sa wala mom dafa wara try mu waxtana ñoom encourage leen pour ga mëna ñëw bu ko soldat itam Gambien leen so nekké Gambien tam il faut tam gis nga dafa am lu xewon den jëlon soldat ne soldat yaay jëmel leen nga xamne lolu man nanguma ko because soldat ci nekkon bu gone xé kon den don xé bu yaay waxé dédit ñoom den nekk seen baras tok ba wax bi yaay dem ñu konté seen liggéey. So the best thing was, President Baron would have focus more on them, encourage them, support them, motivate them. Because a reform would have even 1 year. Normally, a proper reform should be only 1 year. But why up to 4 years? There is no proper reform. All what we are saying, organizing seminars, organizing workshops, from there having your pavilions, having your allowances, but there is no proper reform in this country.
So you mentioned padium. So do you think that's a civilized way of people engaging in corruption?
Of course, this government, the corruption of government, is open to the public. When we talk about corruption, part of government is open. Because the COVID-19 fund, where is the money? After all, the government for how many months took less in carry? 20% of government benefits.
Wow. Okay. All right. So what to be them that have now 1 hour la promise.
Wow, mansa call yangi bari.
Yeah, mangi jegalu. So you have said nothing guy any final questions that you wrap up, So I'll start with Maurice. Any final question for Mr. Cham before he goes?
So Maurice supporting which party? APRC or what?
Maurice, what party are you supporting? I don't know.
No, I'm neutral somehow. I sympathize, but I'm very neutral.
Nobody is neutral. Everybody belongs to political party because you always vote. But I can see that Senghor is pulling more on GDC. Definitely. He's pulling our project and our proposal, our programs.
I follow everything. I read.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm very happy about Senghor. No, jambar la.
No, I've been following Candace since in 2016. So
because the way you're asking the question, I know that you are following GDC definitely.
But
yes, I do follow them very well. Yes.
All right,
Mr. Cham, you said something here. Those are fighting words. You said there is only 3 political parties. You did not mention GAP, PDOISC. You just cut all these prominent political parties. You are going to hear from their supporters, my friend.
Yeah.
No, I have my reason. I have my reason. Why I say I have my reason. Ask my reason. Ask me my reason.
Ask your reason.
It's about politics. Politics is about numbers. It's about the people. It's about structures. That's why even IEC, they are biased. They should have to register all these political parties, but they don't meet the requirement of the IEC. That each political party should have an office nationwide. It's only GDC and UDP and APS who have office nationwide. It's part of the electoral law. It's a law. Each political party need to have an office nationwide.
So are you saying?
And right now,
are you saying they are just Facebook political parties?
Yeah, no. Politics is beyond politics. Politics is beyond Facebook.
Oh, I know.
It's beyond Facebook. Many people right now, we are here online. If you go to Wuli or other areas, they're going to have the access of internet.
Right.
So it's not about Facebook. It's about the people. Go to the grassroots. Have your committee. Have your structure in place. Have your support base. Right now, if you ask GDC, also we have support base nationwide. But how many political parties are here?
You don't.
Many political parties.
Activity?
There's no more. Many political parties are here. They are not. They are not. If you go to Wuli with them or Basse, they don't even know Basse. So you cannot operate a party like that. You need to work. You need to talk to the people at the grassroots. But GDC as a party, we have the structure in place nationwide. We have the committees. We have our year committee. You know, politics is not about to have degree or to have masters. Cool. It's good to have education. It's good to have a degree. But the best politicians, they don't even go to school. Those are the year company. They can mobilize within seconds. Many of the year company, they don't even go to school. Because degree and masters is just a paper.
Well, it's
about the heart. What you have for your country.
It's about human interactions.
Yes, it's about human. You have about to have the connections. Many people are politicians. They didn't go to school, but they can mobilize people. It's about people.
Right.
You can have the degree, you have the masters, but hence you don't have the heart of your country. You're gonna move the country forward. But if you look at the Ghana conditions, all those who are the Ghana conditions, we have master degree and look at them.
All right, we have to wrap
up on Mr. Sumare wanted Barrow to give him the government for 90 days.
Okay, he was part of our party, Mr. Bachili. He was my colleague at GDC. Yeah, he was my colleague at the GDC. He was the foreign secretary of the GDC, 2016-2017. He was part of the party.
Yeah,
I think that's a political opinion.
All right.
Oh, okay, I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Cham, we're running out of time.
That's a political opinion.
Do you have any last?
Thank you very much. Yes.
I have only two quick questions that I
want to. We out of time. We can have it. So let him just wrap up. I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much for the Mr. Senghor and the co-panelists for having me. And I think that it was a nice discussion. And I think really I was very happy the way you were asking me questions. And I think you were well informed what is about Gambian politics. And I will also want to thank the viewers. We are Gambians, and I think that we just share our views. And we all want a better Gambia. That's why we are here at the platform. And thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you, MC. You know, we are so delighted to have you. We're so excited to have you. And I would love to have you again on this platform again. So we are excited. And thank you to my co-panelists.
Senghor.
Yes.
Suma takku dina bi la dafa wara ñew de jeme suma takku
non mu ngay ñew na ñew legi mu ngi ni sama takku dafa wara ñew de comme ni dafa la GDC membership card
suma takku dina wara ñew
na ñew bul won dara no ma sa gënaaw like I would like to really thank you for coming, and we're excited to have you. So next week, you know, guys, you know, we'll be here same time, 5 p.m. GMT. You know, we talk about more topics, and we'll be delighted to have MC Cham on this forum again. Thank you guys for watching us. This is a GAM Recap Show. Please like our page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.